the unseen controller, which we had begun in our previous session. Today will be the concluding session. This is a topic from one of the books of Prabhupada, which Prabhupada had written separately, known as the Krishna Consciousness, the topmost yoga system. Right? From that book, this particular one chapter has been taken and added to this book, known as the Journey of Self-Discovery. Right? So all these teachings are happening, or we are trying to understand by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, who has so wonderfully, meticulously given us these teachings in a way that we can even now assess them, access them, and then rather get all the treasure of understanding from those wonderful teachings. Right? We offer our humble gratitude to Prabhupada for his wonderful contribution for our liberation. So let's have a quick recap of what we have discussed in our previous session on the same topic, the unseen controller. So Prabhupada began by telling that what is our situation, what is our bearing, what is our identity. We are all actually connected to Supreme Lord Krishna as part and parcel. The Bhagavad Gita says, very clearly Krishna says, Mamaivamsha Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. We are not independent. We don't have any separate existence. We are all actually connected to Krishna, just like our different parts of the body are connected to our body. Right? It's like that we are intimately connected. Prabhupada uses a phrase known as part and parcel, which means very closely connected. Then further Prabhupada says, in one sense, we are qualitatively as good as Krishna. Which means, with regard to our spiritual existence, spiritual, qualities, we are like Krishna only. Just like a particle of gold and gold mine. Qualitatively, everything is gold only. Right? So we are all actually spiritual. So Prabhupada want to tell us that we are qualitatively as good as Krishna. Krishna is all spiritual, and we are also spiritual. But in our situation right now, we are actually subjected to some laws of material nature. We have got a material body now. We are spiritual, but we have got a body given by material nature. And this material nature is actually energy of Krishna, which is completely working under Krishna's directions. Just like this body, what I have got now. I'm saying it is my body, but it is actually the body given by material nature under the direction of Krishna. This doesn't act actually as per your direction with regard to aging, with regard to various other aspects of diseases which you're going to experience. It will act the way there are so many other forces working. Material nature is completely working under Krishna's order. Again, with regard to the particular profiling of the living entity known as karma, which he has created himself in his course of interaction with this material world, material nature, and that has created a particular type of a path for him. And as the kala, time unfolds, these various profiling of our karma will slowly manifest in the material world. That's what is happening with us. So, in one sense, the material nature is actually working under Krishna's order. It is not independent. It's that the way we think, everything is happening by nature. Nothing is happening by nature. Behind the nature, there is Krishna. So this is the whole aim of Hare Krishna movement, to make us understand that we are spirit soul, and there is Supreme Soul, Krishna, who is actually the supreme controller of both material nature and we living entities. We are all energy of Krishna. This is what is the purpose of Hare Krishna movement, to educate this knowledge, give this knowledge so that we understand our real identity. Whereas the present situation, our knowledge is all limited like any other living entity's knowledge with regard to who we are. We think we are the body, and the body means enjoying senses. That's what our knowledge is limited to. Right? Prabhupada always was quoting that he visited the MIT, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, one of the most reputed universities, colleges in the world, in America. And there he inquired uh, with regard to, do you have any department of knowledge which is teaching about who you are? Are you this body or you spirit soul? So do you have a separate department of knowledge to understand this, to discuss this? Prabhupada said the answer was no. There is no such department in any university to understand about that we are spirit soul. I am part and parcel of Krishna. What is my actual identity? What I should be doing? These questions are not at all discussed, or not even understood by people in general. So Prabhupada says our knowledge is as good as animals' knowledge. We think everything is meant for my enjoyment, and how animals are busy in eating, sleeping, mating, defending. We are also busy in that way. And we think all things are happening automatically, not knowing the supreme controller behind everything. This is our limitation. We are in that way, the controller is unseen. Whereas the soul is beyond our direct perception. Right? The spirit soul cannot be measured or cannot be identified by any material arrangements or many material instruments we have. Right? Soul is called adhokshaja. Adhokshaja means beyond our sense perception. So the subject matter what Prabhupada is talking is that we are spirit souls, part and parcel of Krishna, and Krishna is supreme soul. And anything connected with Krishna and we as living entities, spirit souls, is subject matter beyond this material realm. Right? And there is a specific Sanskrit word known as adhokshaja. Adhokshaja means that which is beyond our sense perception. Or material sense perception means we can grossly see things, grossly hear things, taste some food grossly. But there are things beyond our sense perception. They are called achintya, or beyond, inconceivable they are called. So they are the ones, rather our soul, even though I may know from various sources of understanding that I am soul, but where am I? Can I see that soul? No. No material arrangement can enable us to see the soul. Only we can understand from scriptural knowledge with regard to what Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita. So Prabhupada wanted to explain us that Krishna and Krishna's whole existence is beyond our direct perception. These questions of actually where am I, what am I, should be part of our deliberation, part of our understanding and thinking process. Otherwise, we'll be only busy thinking, I am just this body. Just like Prabhupada says, I say, this is my hand. I say, this is my head. I am assigning the ownership of different parts of my body to one person. Who is that person? Who am I? Where am I? What am I? These questions should trigger the understanding of our actual spiritual identification. Whereas, because we can't get into this understanding of spirit, supreme spirit, is beyond our perception. So we set aside these questions. What is happening to my life? Why am I aging? Why is it that I'm going to die one day? I'm going to leave this body. These are all very difficult questions. And because we can't get answers for this, we set aside these questions and busy in making, as Prabhupada says, horseless carriages and wingless birds. Aeroplanes and machines we manufacture, and we are busy in that. Our whole energy, our whole efforts, time, everything is completely absorbed. Oh, we have invented this machine, invented that, new arrangement we have made. We're taking pride in that. Rather, Prabhupada says, if you can make a soulless body, that is your pride. Because always we see that anything has to operate. It has to have a living entity, spirit, soul behind it. Nothing can be operated remotely. The whole purpose of Prabhupada's, building up this topic was to tell us that things don't work independently or automatically behind the working of anything. In our experience, there is a person behind. There's a person, there's a soul, living entity. And behind this whole cosmic manifestation working, there is Supreme Soul, Vishwatma, Paramatma. So that is the point. So, understanding them is the purpose of life. And that way, prepare ourselves for ultimate liberation. In fact, Lord Krishna says, even understanding these truths about the nature around us, life around us, who is this, what is this material nature, behind this material nature, how it is working, even understanding this much truth, Krishna says, this will be your last life. If you remain ignorant like any other living entity in this material world, just go on. Okay, life means simply I have to I have to eat something, I have to go on with my life, and that is considered to be a beastly life. The purpose of life is not fulfilled. That's why it is said, Athato Brahma Jignasa. Now that you have got human form of life, you are supposed to inquire about spirit and subject matters concerning spirit. Brahman means spiritual. Right? So this is where Prabhupada was trying to make us understand that we are busy in making machines or smart cities or so many things like that, and forgotten about our spiritual inquiry, spiritual understanding. So from this we will move forward. Next, Prabhupada says, even the scientists are busy doing so many things, but they have forgotten to ask this question: what is the ultimate cause, or who is the ultimate controller? Scientists are searching for the ultimate cause or the ultimate controller of this material universe and are postulating different theories and proposals. Yes, they do engage in research, experimenting, and doing so many things. But for them to find out what is the cause of this, they don't come to a proper understanding at all. It's all one, they may come to some conclusion now, today, oh, maybe this is cause, this is the effect of this is, what effect you're seeing now causes this. After some more years, they'll discover something new. Oh, no, this is not the actual cause. One more cause is there. Very nicely, one example Prabhupada gives. All of us have traveled in train, right? So in the train, there are so many bogies, so many wagons. So if you are sitting in a particular bogie number 10, immediate for your bogie to move forward will be the bogie 9 is pulling, bogie 10. If you think, oh, bogie 9 is everything, because of which bogie 10 is being moved, that is foolishness. Or maybe you think you have come to some understanding that, oh, bogie 5 is what is having that power, that is what is moving. No, actually go on with that. Finally, you'll come to the point that actually engine of the train is the cause, and that is what is moving all the bogies of the train. Oh, really? I'm understanding it very late. And further, you come to the point of understanding, not even the engine. The engine has to be operated by a mechanic. When he presses the button, directs the train, only then the engine will move. Oh, which means spirit soul. So this is exactly the Vedic understanding of what is known as the cause and effect principle. Krishna very nicely explains in Bhagavad Gita that he is the cause of all causes. Vasudeva Sarvamiti. I am the cause of all causes. Whereas scientists are just going to some level of cause and effect and not going to the ultimate cause and ultimate effect. They boil down, or rather they settle down with some level of understanding. Oh, this research I have done and I found this truth. But that truth is only relative truth. You have to move forward and go to the ultimate truth or ultimate cause, ultimate, reality, right? Ultimate controller. Krishna says, I am that. In the Bhagavad Gita, very clearly, repeatedly, Krishna says that. But the real means for knowledge is very, very easy and perfect. We need only hear from the perfect person, Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, there's a nice statement Krishna makes. Aham sarvasya prabhavaho. I am the source of all the manifestations. Whatever you are seeing here in the material world, I am the origin, Krishna says. Clear, answer is over. Your answer is done. What is the cause? What is the cause of this world? Where from I have come from? Krishna says, I am. Krishna explains all the different devatas, different material creations, what you are seeing is all coming from me. Krishna says. So this is the purpose of understanding Vedic literal knowledge, that Krishna is the cause of all causes. Sarva Karana Karanam, as Brahma offers his prayers, he says, he is Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. He is Sarva Karana Karana, means he is the cause of all causes. By accepting the knowledge imparted in Bhagavad Gita, anyone can immediately know that this great cosmic machine, of which the earth is a part, is working so wonderfully because there is a driver behind it, Krishna. The important point is the important aspect of revelation, which, when we start understanding the Bhagavad Gita, we'll come to know. Otherwise, we think things are happening automatically. Something like, some machine is working automatically. No, behind the working of the machine, there's a big science, and that science is developed by a person, and the machine has to be operated by a person. Only then it will work. Likewise, this material world working may look like it is automatic, but behind this wonderfully working machine, there's a driver. That is Krishna. Maya Dhekshana Prakriti. The scriptures say, Parasya Shakti Vividhaiva Shruyate. The things may look like it is working automatically, but behind this wonderful working, there is Krishna's hand. So, Prabhupada says, yes, for this reason we accept Krishna as a perfect person. Our process of knowledge is very easy. What is the process? Krishna's instruction in the Bhagavad Gita is that Bhagavad Gita is the principal book of knowledge given by Adi Purusha himself. Krishna himself has given this understanding. The supreme primeval person, the supreme personality of God. Krishna establishes this aspect of he being the supreme primeval person. Primeval means Purana, Adi Purusha. He is the origin. Before creation he was there. During creation he is there. Even after creation he exists. That is called Adi Purusha. Adi means he is the origin of everything. He is the source of everything. That's what it means. So Krishna's position is that Anadir Adir Govinda. He has no beginning. He is the beginning of everything. He is indeed the perfect person. It may be argued that although we have accepted him as a perfect person, there are many others who do not. Right? So the aspect of Krishna's supremacy and as a perfect person means he is going to stand the effects of time. Beyond effects of time, he is going to stand. Just like in our case, as time goes, we are all subjected to destruction. Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita. As time factor, he is destroying everything. Whereas Krishna's existence is beyond time. He is the controller of time. That is the point. So perfect means he is perfect in all respects. One more understanding of perfect person, Prabhupada explains. As a living entity, as a human being in the material world, we have 4 defects. First defect is we commit mistakes. Any of us, anybody, any big scientist, you will not say, I am perfect. He has done a lot of mistakes in his life or in his own field of understanding. Then our senses are imperfect. Right? I cannot see, so I have to wear specs. There is dark, I cannot see anything. I need light. Like this, every sense, our every sense will function only under specific conditions. Then thirdly, we are under illusion that I am this body. Or many such understandings. We assume something to be something else. Just like in the darkness, we assume a rope to be a snake. That is called illusion. Right? Illusion to accept something else as something else. We assume it to be something else. And accepting rope to be a snake is illusion. Accepting body as self is illusion. And fourthly, we have this cheating propensity. Although we are completely ignorant, not aware of every aspect of this, about me or this world around me, we pose ourselves as though I am a big knower of, or a big thinker, or a big teacher, teaching everything. That is called cheating. So these 4 propensities, they are called defects. We are not perfect. To commit mistakes, imperfect senses, they're illusioned, and they have cheating propensity, is very much part of every living entity in the material world. Whereas Krishna is beyond these imperfections. That's why he's called perfect person. Right? He's perfect in every aspect. So accepting Krishna as a perfect person may not be possible by everybody because of the individual's limitations. Some may accept, some may not accept, but for as practitioners of devotional service, bhakti, we accept Krishna as a perfect person with a proper scientific understanding. But one should not think that this acceptance is whimsical. Excuse me. He's accepted as a perfect person on the evidence of many authorities. That's the point. So Krishna is not simply, somebody will accept as a perfect person. Perfect person, God only is the perfect person. All of us are imperfect. Right? And this is not simply from our imagination or our concoction, or purposes as whimsical. It is based on a lot of evidences from authorities. We do not accept Krishna as perfect simply on the basis of our whims or sentiments. No, Krishna is accepted as God by many Vedic authorities like Vyasadeva, the author of all Vedic literatures. When Krishna explained to Arjuna about his identity in truth, then Arjuna accepted Krishna's supremacy. He said, Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan in Bhagavad Gita. And he says, this acceptance of mine is not simply my own concoction or my own assumption or whimsical or sentimental because you are my friend Krishna. No, same thing is accepted by many authorities. He uses the word, he quotes some great authorities like Asita, Devala, Vyasa. They're all great sages in Vedic understanding. So all the Vedic scriptures are talking about Krishna's being the perfect personality, Krishna's being the supreme person. So our understanding of Krishna our acceptance of Krishna as a supreme authority or supreme perfect person is based on Vedic evidence given by great authorities like Vyasadeva. The treasure house of knowledge is contained in the Vedas, and their author, Vyasadeva, accepts Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead. Right? Veda means it is a treasure house of knowledge. Nigama kalpataro galitam phalam. It's called huge tree of understanding. Vedas. It has all branches of understanding. And all of the Vedic understanding is concluding as Krishna's concluding Krishna's supremacy. Vedesha sarve rahame vedya. Even Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that I am the essence of all the Vedic understanding. If you want to know what is the essence of all Vedas, it is me, Krishna says. And Vyasadeva's spiritual master, Narada, also accepts Krishna as such. Right? Vyasadeva's guru is Narada. Narada's guru is his own father, Brahma. Like this, all authorities in spiritual succession are accepting Krishna's supremacy, Krishna's authority. Narada's spiritual master, Brahma, accepts Krishna not only as a supreme person, but a supreme controller as well. So we quoted this verse just some time ago. Ishvara Paramaha Krishna. This is what Brahma is telling. Right? The supreme controller is Krishna. So then somebody may come up with an argument. Okay, then maybe you have this God must be made God. It's like nowadays there's a fashion. Anybody can become God by some austerity or some voting. So Prabhupada says Krishna was not made God. He is God always. Right? There is no one in the creation who can claim that he is not controlled. Prabhupada explains how. When you say perfect person, when you say supreme person, what does it mean? Supreme means nobody can control him, or he is supreme controller. In the material world, everybody is controlled in one way or the other. They may say, oh, I am free, power in the material world. But you are controlled by material nature. Yes, you're aging, you're going to die one day, you're subject to the laws of material nature. This you cannot deny, right? So you may say, you may declare yourself independent from the established laws of what humans have made, but you are not beyond the laws of this material world, which Krishna has made, which Maya is controlling. You are subject to those laws of repeated birth and death. So this is what everybody is in the material world. Whereas in the material world, we don't see anybody who is not being controlled by any of the laws of nature. Everyone, regardless of how important or powerful, has a controller over his head. Right? However, Krishna has no controller, therefore he is God. This is the definition of God. Ishvaraha Paramaha Krishna. He is the supreme controller, Parama Ishvara. Therefore, he is known as God. He is the controller of everyone, but there is no superior to him. No one can control him, nor is there anyone equal to him. Mattaha Parataram Nanyat, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. There is nobody equal to him, nobody superior to him. No one to share his platform of absolute control. Very wonderful, statement Prabhupada is making. Absolute control. Right? Krishna has that absolute authority. One more context Prabhupada says that his spiritual master used to describe Krishna as transcendental autocrat. Right? He is that autocrat. He is that supreme controller. Actually, we have to feel this statements which Prabhupada is making here with regard to his Krishna's supremacy. Because in our case, we may have enjoyed some level of authority or control at different points in our life. And we may see people having different level of powers, right? But here, when it comes to Krishna, Krishna's controlling tendency or controlling attitude, nature, and his superiority nature, absolute control nature is something beyond our imagination, right? So like this, Prabhupada goes on to explain to us how it is so wonderful to understand why we accept Krishna as supreme personality or as God. This may sound very strange, for there are many so-called gods nowadays. Right? Presently, there are so many people who are claiming themselves to be gods. Oh, how can there's a competition now? People may think. Indeed, gods have become very cheap, being especially imported from India. People think, oh, many people, you can become God. That is the understanding people have. People in other countries are fortunate that gods are not manufactured there. But in India, gods are manufactured practically every day. This is what you're seeing in the present context. Anybody, will claim that, oh, I am God. You can become God. You will give me some money. I will give you some mantra. You become God. So as though this term God has been made so cheap, because people are unaware of what it means. God's true definition. So taking this word God as very cheap, just like when you don't have proper knowledge of what is diamond, you may think diamond is like any other object. You may go to a kirana shop, grocery store, and ask, "I give me 2 kilos of diamond." Maybe you have heard something. It must be some sort of a stone. Okay, give me some available in grocery shop. No, that is your foolishness. You don't know what is the value of diamond. Similarly, you don't have proper understanding of what is God, and you try to create a God or manufacture a God or concoct a God. That is what is happening presently in the present society. People are totally ignorant about God's position. Prabhupada is telling that we often hear that God is coming to Los Angeles or New York, and that people are gathering to receive him, as though God, is specifically coming to different places. But Krishna is not that type of God who is created in a mystic factory. No, he was not made God, he is God. It means Krishna's position is eternally as God. We understood the meaning of God. God means supreme controller. God means he is perfect person. Like this, there are definitions of God, and he is the source of everything. He is the origin of everything. He has no other origin. Adi Purusha is called. So how do you understand this position of God? whether we can go on speculating, we can go on, making some experiments, we can go on, like observe some things and then come to some conclusion, theorize something. So Prabhupada now explains the two methods or the two processes of understanding about spiritual subject matters, right? One is called the inductive process, another is called the deductive process. In Sanskrit, they are called Aroha Pantha, Avaroha Pantha. Right? Let's understand about this. We should know then, on the basis of authority, that behind this gigantic material nature, the cosmic manifestation, there is God, Krishna, and that He is accepted by all Vedic authorities. Right? So there's a process called deductive process. Avaroha Pantha, which means there are authorities who are giving you understanding about the facts of this world. And we accept that in our understanding. Why? Because we are not having that capability. We don't have that sensual development, intellectual development to comprehend things around us. There are so many things beyond our comprehension, right? So basically, our limitations are so many that we are totally ignorant about most of the things around us. So the Vedic scriptures are declaring very clearly that behind this wonderful material nature, huge material nature, the cosmic manifestation it is called, there is Lord Krishna who is conducting that. And it is what Vedic authorities state, and we accept them as facts. Acceptance of authority is not new for us. Prabhupada says accepting authority is something very much part of our life. Everyone accepts authority in some form or another. Right? For education, we go to a teacher or to a school or simply learn from our father and mother. When we begin our education, we go to school and even our parents teach us and we accept them. Prabhupada gives nicely, examples. It's like they're all authorities and our nature is to learn from them. Parents are natural authorities, natural leaders for children. Teachers also natural leaders for children. In our childhood, we asked, Father, what is this? And father would say, this is a pen, these are spectacles, or this is a table. Right? So father or the parents used to tell us and teach us about different aspects of things around us. And we learned like that. In this way, from the very beginning of life, a child learns from his father and mother. This is actually called a deductive process. Deductive process means we don't start experimenting or we don't start doubting in the beginning only. Okay, let me figure out what is this, object called pen. I don't know what is this pen. Let me find out. If you go on, if you have that attitude, you will never find out what it is. Right? First accept what authority says. Right? And this we have been doing from the beginning of our life. A good father and mother never cheat when their son inquires from them. They give exact and correct information. If the parent will misguide the child by telling, no, it is just a stick. It's not a pen, it's a stick. Pen is something different. It is cheating. Giving a pen and telling it is something different, it is cheating. Whereas a real parent or good parent will give exact and correct information. Similarly, if we get spiritual information from an authority, and if the authority is not a cheater, then our knowledge is perfect. So this is what Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita also, that we need to approach a bona fide authority in the spiritual subject matter. Not that somebody who is posing himself as a guru, a fake guru or a bogus guru. No, a very bona fide, very who can really give us proper understanding. For this, some common sense we have to use and move forward. And if you have sincerity in our heart, Krishna will direct us. Krishna will take us to that bona fide personality. Right? So, if we get proper spiritual information, authentic spiritual information from an authority, bona fide authority, then our knowledge is perfect. Right? However, if you attempt to reach conclusions by dint of our own speculative powers, we are subject to fall into error. This is called inductive process, which means let me figure out things, let me find out things, let me experiment, let me research, right? Our own speculative powers, right? So that means we will be ending up with a lot of mistakes, because one of the imperfection we have is to commit mistakes, right? Then the process of induction by which one reasons from particular facts or individual cases and arrives at a general conclusion is never a perfect process. Prabhupada gives a nice example. It's like you have heard man is mortal, right? So, or rather, scriptures say living entity is immortal, man is mortal, his body is mortal. So, this aspect of living entity being immortal and the human being, his body being mortal, oh, I won't experiment. You go on experimenting, right? And of course, there are entities, there are human beings who are immortal. They are called Nitya Siddha or eternally liberated people. They are there even now. But if you go on experimenting yourself, where you will come to conclusion? How many people are going to experiment? Right? So like this, it is an imperfect process. Your process of evaluation will never be conclusive. Right? So that's what Prabhupada says here very nicely. That the process of induction by which one reasons from particular facts or individual cases and arrives at a general conclusion is never a perfect process. That's what generally the newspaper or any modern way of assessment happens, right? They just take a sample of few people and just come to some conclusion. Oh, this is how it is. And mostly it is all biased with regard to whatever way they want, they'll try to get the results. Because we are limited and our experience is limited, the inductive process of acquiring knowledge will always remain imperfect, right? Because we are not sampled, or rather we are not gone to everybody. Limitation is there. We can't do also that one, right? So this inductive process means with your own endeavor, with your own research, with your own experiment, we're trying to figure out things, understand things around you. This will always be imperfect only. Whereas other process called deductive process, because it is coming from authority, it is perfect. But if we receive information from the perfect source, Krishna, and if we repeat that information, then what we are speaking can also be accepted as perfect and authoritative. Very important revelation Prabhupada is making. I may be imperfect, but because I am getting knowledge from the perfect source, Krishna, and his pure devotees, bona fide authorities, my knowledge also is perfect. It's like the child may not know what is a pen, but the father has told it is pen. So whatever child will repeat, what is a pen? For anybody else, that knowledge of the child is perfect and authoritative. That is what is known as a disciplic succession. This process of parampara or disciplic succession means hearing from Krishna or from authorities who accepted Krishna and repeating exactly what they have said. Right? This is exactly what Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita. Evam parampara praptam evam rajashyo viduhu. So this perfect understanding of the truths of life cannot be figured out, cannot be comprehended by our own endeavors. It has to be heard from authority. Krishna or Krishna's representatives, and just repeat that, or your life is perfect. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna recommends this process of knowledge. Evam parampara praptam imam rajashyo viduhu. This supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. So all the statements Krishna has already made very nicely, wonderfully in the Bhagavad Gita. So in our case, our knowledge also is perfect. Why? Because it is coming from Krishna. Because we accepted Krishna's authority. Formerly, knowledge passed down was passed down by great saintly kings who were authorities. Krishna explains this. In the former times, the Raja Rishis, they were simply not Rajas, they were Rishis also. They were saintly kings. Right? Like this, Krishna explains, I instructed the sun god gave it to his son Manu. Manu gave to his son Ikshvaku. Like this, in the parampara, or the succession of saintly kings, this knowledge was disseminated in the entire world for the benefit of the whole humanity. In the previous ages, however, these kings were rishis, great learned scholars and devotees, and because they were not ordinary men, the government which they headed worked very nicely. The Vedic way of civilization was that the kings were not simply administrators, they were actually guided by saintly personalities, the Brahmanas, and they all conducted their entire administration, the government, the state, in a very, very as per the instructions of the Vedic understanding. So everybody, was very happy, and everybody was feeling very safe. Their life was, their experience of life was very fulfilling with regard to both material aspect and spiritual aspect. Right? Administrator, the king, is supposed to protect the citizens not only from material problems, even from the spiritual downfall. That is what the purpose of the administrator, the king, is. There are many instances in Vedic civilization of kings who attained perfection as devotees of God. Right? There are many wonderful examples in the Bhagavata given, how kings were all so elevated, even spiritually, that they guided the whole country, whole citizens in a nice way for their spiritual upliftment. For example, Dhruva Maharaj went to the forest to search out God, and by practice of severe penance and austerity, he found God within 6 months. You see, Dhruva Maharaj actually ruled the whole planet for 36,000 years. And he realized Krishna in 6 months, and he got complete blessing of Krishna. So this Krishna consciousness process is also based on austerity, but it is not difficult. Whereas with Dhruva Maharaj, he performed severe austerities. Prabhupada is saying to make us understand. With Krishna consciousness, it is not difficult. A simple austerity is there, which we can follow. That will help us. The restrictions governing eating and sex life. That's all we are telling. We have to eat only prasadam, food first offered to Krishna. And sex is restricted to married life only, not unrestricted sex. Right? Sex within the purview of married life, you can have sex. And there are other regulations which facilitate and foster spiritual realization. So Prabhupada says there are simple rules, regulations which you follow, then you can understand Krishna, you can know Krishna. It is not possible in these days to imitate Dhruva Maharaja, but by following certain basic Vedic principles, we can make advancement in spiritual consciousness, Krishna consciousness. So our discussion is our discussion began with we're trying to understand that because we are not trying to know who we are, what we are busy in material aspects of life, and that is actually entangling us. And when you come to know about your real identity, who you are, that you are part and parcel of Krishna, and Krishna is supreme person, perfect person, then your life is perfect. And how to know this? To know this, you have to consult the perfect person, Krishna. And how is Krishna perfect person? Krishna is perfect person, not simply that we are whimsically declaring it. No, it is all the great authorities, like great sages like Vyasadeva, all the Vedic scriptures are declaring this. And how to know these Vedic literatures? These Vedic literatures can be understood by what is known as parampara, disciplic succession. There are representatives of Krishna, pure devotees who are bona fide representatives who can give us this understanding. And they are giving us some rules, regulations, how to follow them. By following this, we can know about who we are, why are we in this material world, what is the role of all of us in this material world, how I should connect myself, what is the purpose of life. All these things will be revealed to us. Right? So Prabhupada is telling, with Dhruva Maharaja, he followed very severe austerities. We cannot imitate that. But we can make advancement in spiritual consciousness, Krishna consciousness, by a very simple process. Way Prabhupada has given us in this ISKCON movement. And as we advance here in this spiritual life, we become perfect in knowledge. We'll understand things in its proper perspective. So what is the use of becoming a scientist or a philosopher if we cannot say what our next life will be? Very challenging question. Right? We may say we are making horseless carriages, wingless birds, but what is the use? You don't know what will happen to you next life. Very unfortunate. We are so much ignorant. We are so much in oblivion, so much in darkness about our own existence, about our own life. I don't know where I'm going. If you ask anybody in the road, for example, somebody is going in a car, where are you going? Heading towards? I don't know. If he says, you say, you're a madman. You're sitting in a vehicle. You should know what is your destination. So likewise, in the human form of life, you're supposed to know your destination. Right? If you're living a life without destination, without goal, it is you can say madness, right? Insane. So that's what everybody is doing. Everybody is running here and there. What is the purpose of life? Don't know. Purposes are all very, very, you can say, superficial, very artificial. Don't have the real purpose of what is that I'm supposed to be doing in the human form of life. Busy with animal purposes, as Prabhupada says, animal technology of eating, sleeping, mating, defending. So what is the use of becoming a scientist or a philosopher? Philosophy means find out the truth. Scientist means who is the ultimate controller, who is the ultimate creator. This quest of knowledge should be there in us. Inquisitiveness should be there. Then if you are not able to even understand what is going to happen to you next life, you yourself say you're a big scientist. What is the use? Very challenging question. A realized student of Krishna consciousness can very easily say what his next life is, what God is, what the living entity is, what his relationship with God is. These are all the revelations or the realizations which a person who is practicing Krishna consciousness can tell you what you are, what God is, what our next life will be. All these very important, most relevant aspects of life are being taught in the Krishna consciousness movement by Prabhupada. His knowledge is perfect because it is coming from the perfect books of knowledge such as Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. And Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam is coming from where? From Krishna, the perfect source. So this is the process Prabhupada explains. The process of Krishna consciousness is this. What is that? It is very easy and anyone can adopt it and make his life perfect. Right? So we are supposed to perfect our human life by adopting the process of Krishna consciousness. It's a very easy process. What is that process? So if somebody says, I am not educated at all and I cannot read books, he's still not disqualified. If somebody may say, I can't read books because Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam is all English language. Somebody may say, or some other language, whatever it is. Am I disqualified? Prabhupada says no. He can still perfect his life simply by chanting the Maha Mantra. This is the special benefit in Kali Yuga. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Simply, if you chant this mantra every day, your life is perfect. This is the essence of all scriptures. All the Vedic scriptures, all Bhagavad Gita, everything is talking about this particular aspect of practice. Krishna has given us a tongue and 2 ears, and we may be surprised to know that Krishna is realized through the ears and tongue and not through the eyes. Just see. A wonderful, benefit or wonderful opportunity for all of us in the Kali Yuga. Simply have to chant, vibrate Krishna's name and hear. That's all. By hearing his message, we learn to control the tongue, and after the tongue is controlled, other senses follow. Just see. That's what is happening with us. So, of all the senses, the tongue is most voracious and difficult to control. But it can be controlled simply by chanting Hare Krishna and tasting Krishna Prasadam, food offered to Krishna. So the process of Krishna consciousness, as Prabhupada says, is easy and anybody can adopt. Why? Because only 2 things Prabhupada says. You chant Hare Krishna and you take Prasadam. Your eating problem is solved because you have to just chant Hare Krishna. And sleeping, of course, you sleep, but you're sleeping to maintain your body to perform service to Krishna. And mating is only with your wife, the two for creating good children. so that they can be also trained in the devotional service. Of course, defense aspect, devotees are not worried because Krishna takes care. They are doing whatever as part of the life is required. They're trying to do their minimum. But mostly Krishna takes care, as Krishna assures. Yoga Kshema, Krishna takes care. Yoga Kshema Mahamyaham. For my devotees, I take care of their Yoga Kshema, Krishna says. That is the process, very simple process. So we cannot understand Krishna by sensual perception or by speculation. Just simply chant Hare Krishna, take prasadam, then you can understand Krishna. That's what Prabhupada want to tell us. If it is not possible, for Krishna is so great that he is beyond our sensual range. Krishna is called Adhokshaja, beyond our sense perception. But he can be understood by surrender to Krishna. Therefore, Krishna therefore recommends this process. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami masuchaha. Give up all varieties of religiousness and just surrender unto me, and in return, I shall protect you from all sinful reactions. Therefore, you have nothing to fear. The statement by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, towards the end of the Bhagavad Gita. Right? Give up all varieties of different, so many responsibilities, duties, religiousness, what you're trying to follow. Simply surrender to me. Surrender to Krishna, Krishna means follow what Krishna is telling us. And in return, Krishna is telling, I will protect you from all the sinful reactions. Therefore, you have nothing to fear. So, Prabhupada concludes by telling how accepting the authority of Krishna is the perfect process. Unfortunately, our disease is that we are rebellious. We automatically resist authority. When Krishna says, surrender to me, I will protect you. Why Krishna? I have somebody else, something else. I have some other plans. That is our mentality. Right? That's what has happened in our present situation. That is our disease. Yet, although we say that we don't want authority, nature is so strong that forces authority upon us. Right? You may say, I'll not follow authority, but you are under some authority always. You are subject to some authority. We are forced to accept the authority of nature. We explained that how we are going through cycle of birth, death, old age, disease, and there are so many seasonal changes happening. We don't want it, but it happened. What can be more pathetic than a man who claims to answer to no authority, but who follows his senses blindly wherever they lead him? Very nice statement Prabhupada is making. Very pathetic for a man. Says, I have no authority, but he is simply running like a mad person. Uncontrolled, unbridled horse. Right? Wherever it is running, going, I am just running like an animal. So our false claim to independence is simply foolishness. We are all under authority, yet we say that we don't want authority. This is called Maya, illusion. Right? We do, however, have a certain independence. We can choose to be under the authority of our senses, the authority of Krishna. There are only two choices. Either you accept authority of Krishna and perfect your life, or you are under the authority of your own mind and senses. They dictate and will divert you, take you and mislead you, misguide you, will put you into a ditch. You follow that either way. Either Maya or Krishna. What you want to choose, you select. That much independence you have got. The best and ultimate authority is Krishna, for he is our eternal well-wisher and he always speaks for our benefit. This is what we have been analyzing and discussing in this particular topic. The unseen controller, right? Since we have to accept some authority, why not accept Krishna's? Simply by hearing of his glories from the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam, and by chanting his names, Hare Krishna, we can swiftly perfect our lives. Right? Already we're doing this in different ways. We're hearing the glorification of some other person. Maybe film star or some other star, some other politician, doing already and trying to repeat that to some other people. Krishna is telling, do it for me because I am that source of everything. I am the source of your maintenance, sustenance. This is only going to save you and perfect our life. Perfection means no more birth and death. That's what's going to happen. Prabhupada concludes. Thank you very much. Right. So, it's a wonderful topic. Unseen controller. Krishna is unseen, but he can be seen by a process. He'll be seen, he'll be visible to us by a process. That's what we have analyzed and understood in this particular topic. So I'll conclude here. If anybody is going to ask, discuss, or take a few any points of discussion, we can take. Any comments? Yes. No comments? Fine then.
Wonderful,
So,
sir. Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you. Fine. Thank you. So we'll come with a new topic next week again. We'll meet you next week again. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Jai Shila Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.